Hi, I'm Bonnie, and welcome to Tabletop Setup, where we help you learn to set up the tabletop games you want to play. So today we're going to take a look at Alien Frontiers. He's designed by Tori Needham. And so this is the box. It's lovely, it's attractive, it has a spaceman on it, so it's all you can ever ask for. If we take a look at it, we have the rule book, always important, and the board. And first of all, what we're going to do is go over the idea of the game and a little bit about the components that come with it. The theme of the game is, do you have what it takes to be a space colonist? An alien frontier awaits the brave and the daring. This new planet may be harsh, but you have the skills to manage your resources. Build a fleet, research alien life, settle colonies. The world can be yours. So it's a game of resource management and planetary development. During the game, you will utilize orbital facilities and alien technology to build colony domes on strategic locations to control this newly discovered world. It could be yours. I believe in you. So it's a game for 2 to 4 players with the base version. There are expansions. Suggested age range is 13 and up, and the game length averages about 90 minutes. Like all games, it's going to be a little longer the first few times you play, but then you get pretty fast at stabbing each other in the back. So going through some of the components we have, this is the scorecard, where you track your victory points as the game continues on. These are the fuel and the ore. These are the only 2 resources used in this game. The gray squares are ore tokens. The orange discs that look like candy are fuel. Each player obviously is in a different color. So those are the basic colors that come with the game are red, blue, yellow, and green. The version I have, actually, I'll show you right now. I actually have an expansion for it. So it improves the components that came with the game initially. So these are the initial colony markers. You can see here, they're just simple wooden discs. And when you buy the expansion, they actually come out as cool little domed worlds. So some of the stuff you're going to see in here won't actually come with the basic game. It's because I'm fancy and I have the expansion. Other things that you get in here, these are the field generator counters. Which are used later on in the game. Again, the basic version comes simply with the little colored discs. My expansion comes with the fancy plastic pieces because I am fancy. This clear die, again, a fancier version than what you'll get. I know you're jealous. This is the relic ship, and it goes on one of the worlds, which we'll show you. It's an additional ship that you get to buy. We have the planet colony areas, each one on the map, which we'll show you in a few minutes. If you control that zone, it gives you a benefit. And so these are the territory counters to let you know who controls what one and what the current benefit is. And then we have alien tech cards, which are cards that you can purchase throughout the game, and they give you either an ongoing or a one-time benefit. So that's all the components in the game. And so now we're just going to set it up for you really quick. Okay, so we're only going to set up the 1 players just to show you kind of where everything goes. But again, the game has various setups depending on how many people play. Like I said, it can go between 2 and 4. So what we're going to do is show you the 4-player setup. So basically dump out everything that came with your little bits. Bits are important. These fancy little rockets, again, only in the upgrade pack. You're jealous, I know it. One of them is a spare, and the other one will go on the victory counter. And like I said, as the game progresses, you track your victory points live. So there'll be 1 for each color. You start with 6 dice. These are your ships in the game. So basically you take 3 of your dice and you put them in the maintenance bay near the shipyard. And then your other 3 actually just go off to the side of the game. And that's a pool of dice that you can then buy later at the shipyard. So your maintenance go there. So in a 4-player game, you start with 6 of your colonies. The others are spares. You can use them to track on the victory point or other things, but just toss them out of the game. So you start with 6 of these. This is something that varies depending on how many people play. You get that. You take out your alien tech cards. When you can't open the baggie, there you go. As I said, they're one-time benefits, ongoing benefits throughout the game. There's some that are just simply victory points. So like in any good card game, you give them a good quick shuffle. You deal 1 out to every player. So in this case, we'll pretend that there's 4 people. And each person gets 1 and they stay face up. This is a known element in the game. You always know what each person's alien tech cards are. The rest you put off to the side. And you always have 3 face up that people can buy when they do the alien artifact action. So So you take your territory counters and you just lay them in each of the spots. One of the fun things about this game is if you look down and you realize that all of the areas of this new world that we're developing, you know, Bradbury, Asimov, Herbert, Heinlein, right? It's a nice little nod to the famous people in our lives, so. That die I told you about earlier, the clear one that I put somewhere, this relic ship goes in the Burrows Desert, and it's a one-time ability that you can buy that and then control that as a bonus ship as you go through. The only other quick things you need to do, the game isn't that complex really to set up, is somewhere along the side of the board, you place your isolation field, your positron field, and your repulsor field. These are used on the world itself. There are certain cards that you can use to trigger these actions, right? And you can either put, once this is controlled by somebody, say blue had controlling interest in this area, they could put the isolation field on there, which means now no one else can use that bonus. Or you could put the super cool fancy marker that I have because I'm super cool and fancy. And then the only other thing you need to start is you just dump out all of the resources that are used in this game. Like I said, we have orange fuel and gray ore. You dump all of them out. The gray always goes down by the lunar mine, and the orange always go up by the solar converter. And that's how you set up a 4-player game of Alien Frontiers. The only real difference is if you're playing either the 3-player variant or the 2-player variant. In the 3-player, each person starts with 7 colony tokens, right? In the 4-player, we started with 6 of them, so you get 1 more, which means the game lasts a little longer, potentially. And what you do is you take one of the unclaimed colored ships that aren't used, and if you do a close-up of the board, you would notice that some of the spots either have 2 or 3 dice, or markers on each one. And so what you do is you just block each of those off with the unused dice. For in a 3-player game, you would block all the ones that have a 3. The rules suggest you put a 1 on the die just so you remember that this is actually something that's not in use in this game. Same thing if it was a 2-player variant. Each person starts with 8 colony tokens, so again, more colony tokens. And what you do is you take all the unused, so the other 2 colors, and you would also block off the 2 dot spaces. And that just restricts what you can do in each turn, which means more interaction with each other. The only other thing to start with is you randomly decide who's first player, and that person does get a pretty big benefit being first. This is a game where you roll your dice and you place them on the board, and they stay on the board until your turn comes around again, so you're blocking those. So being first player is a pretty big deal. So to help balance that out, in each turn, you randomly decide who's first. The second player, player number 2 in clockwise order, will start with 1 fuel, so 1 orange. Third place starts with 1 gray, 1 ore, and then the 4th place starts with 1 of each. In a 3-player game, player 1 gets the advantage of starting, player 2 gets 1 fuel, player 3 gets 1 ore. And in the 2-player variant, player 2 just starts with 1 fuel. So that's one way to try and start to balance the game out. The resources are like any good game, that's always the thing you're struggling with. So to be able to start with some is a really good benefit. So that was setting up Alien Frontiers. It's pretty simple, like I said, it's one of my favorite games. To get more information and show notes, please go see our website at tabletopsetup.com or YouTube/Tabletop Setup. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time on Tabletop Setup. We've helped you get started. Now go play.